everyone, and thank you for joining me for my 2-year update. I really appreciate the viewing. So it's been 2 years, technically right now, as of this date, 2 years and 1 month, that I went vegan, and I went immediately vegan. Now, of course, I didn't fully know what that meant, but yes, I'm vegan, not plant-based. So I'm going to go over the health benefits that I've had over the past 2 years and the changes from year 1 to year 2. I did not do a 1-year update. Maybe I should have. I didn't get the chance. But I feel a lot differently year 2 about health issues than I did about year 1. So I'll briefly touch on my viewpoint differences to sort of make up for not having a year 1 video. And I'm also going to talk about how I feel about certain health topics that are currently talked about among vegan YouTubers. Some I agree with partially, some I don't agree with. I'm going to talk about my lifestyle changes, and then I'm going to show you some of my current yummy food faves. Anyway, okay, so 2 years ago, April 5th, 2016, I woke up 4:30 in the morning, around that, and I felt like I had this huge weight on my chest, and it was unlike anything I'd ever felt before. And I had sort of gone back and forth with modest amounts of chest pain for years. Like, it would always seem to be like right here. If I get chest pain, it would be like right here or left here, however you want to do it. But this was really different, and it kind of told me this is the last chance I was going to get to fix it on my own. Like, if I did not do something, there were going to be choices made for me, and I might not be happy with them. So I had a friend that we had talked many times that she went vegan for her cholesterol. And so in the back of my mind, I knew that was like an option. And so when I had this event 2 years ago, I knew I had to go vegan, and that was it. And it was like a switch flipped in my brain, and I went, at the time, plant-based. I called it vegan, but it was plant-based because I didn't realize how much it would carry through the rest of my life at the time. But at the time, I'm like, I'm vegan, that's it. Or I'm going vegan, and otherwise I'm going to die. So that's what I did. Anyway, so I made changes, and probably I shouldn't have waited this long, and don't follow my example. If you have an event like that, go see your doctor immediately. But I waited 2 weeks, and I got my blood tested, and I got my cholesterol levels checked. He did whatever electrical test you do to see if you have heart issues, and I was fine. And it probably took about 2 weeks after I went plant-based to not have chest pain. And my bad cholesterol at that time, when I got my blood work done 2 years ago, was about, and again, this was 2 weeks after the event, my bad cholesterol was 129? I think it was 129, my LDL. So my first year, I did everything possible, and I was pretty good at it, to be completely plant-based in my food. But I wasn't eating as healthy as I am now. In other words, I sort of substituted, and I think this is kind of a natural step, you substitute vegan options for at least I did. I'm not trying to generalize everyone, but for me, I substituted vegan options for my meat and cheese options. So I would throw a lot of vegan cheese into things. It's like every meal had to have vegan cheese in it. I just really needed the taste at the time. What can I say? So I was eating, I'm pretty sure it's probably saturated fat. So I was eating a lot of saturated fat. And, but I felt pretty good. So when a year came around and I had my blood checked, my bad cholesterol didn't really go down. In fact, it went up a little bit. It went to like 137, and I was like, well, maybe it's not going to go down. But that's okay because I feel healthier and I know I'm making better choices. And maybe I'm just one of those people that has high cholesterol and it's in my DNA and my genes and my body can't get rid of it and blah, 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 blah. So, but then year 2, I really started, and obviously the seeds were planted in year 1, but in year 2, I was eating a lot less vegan cheese, a lot more vegetables. And in fact, right now my favorite meal to make is vegetable soup. I love a good vegetable soup. And I think I'll probably do a video on it because it's wonderful. And it's a great way to get your veggies. Oh, and by the way, my daughter is also plant-based. She has specific issues with her autism, with her weight, and medications playing into it. And I'm going to do a separate video for her. And it's really important because the diet has affected her differently, extremely positive. I mean, it's similar in that there's all these kind of benefits, but she's had different health issues. So I just want to put it out there. I'm going to do a separate video for her, the benefits she's had, because I think it'll help maybe a lot of parents with autistic kids. So anyway, okay, so getting back to my thing. I'm riffing this like I normally do. So year 2, I'm eating better. I'm just eating better. I mean, I was eating plant-based vegan before, just like I am now, but I'm just making better choices. So about, a few days before my 2nd vegan anniversary, I think it was April 1st, I got my blood drawn. And I got the results back about a week and a half ago. And my bad cholesterol really went down. It went down to 104. And I was so shocked, but in a happy way, because here I was thinking it wasn't going to go down, and well, that's okay. I felt like I was making the best choice, and so it went from 137 to 104 in a year with basically almost no exercise, sadly, which is going to change for year 3. That'll be in my next update. But that is like a monumental deal because a lot of people have to take statins to do that, which is what I did not want to do. So this leads me to some of my thoughts about vegan diet. Currently, there are some people that feel that fat is really bad for vegans. Fat is the killer of vegans. And it's completely generalized just as fat. And I have to tell you, when I heard this, my first thought was, that is the biggest bunch of jive I've heard in like 25 years. Because 25 years ago, yes, I've been around that long, 25 years ago, the same thing was being said about fat. Fat is bad, fat will kill you, but it was just generalized to everybody. Now it's like specifically packaged to vegans, like fat is the killer of vegans. So I blew it off before my blood test. Pardon me. So now I'm kind of thinking it's a little bit true, but in a specific way. I have not researched this yet. I will, but I have a feeling that there's probably a link between saturated fat and cholesterol. But I don't know. Also, in year 2, I stopped cooking with fat. I do a lot of baking. I stopped cooking with fat, I do a lot of baking, and I just add like some olive oil or some avocado oil after the fact to dishes so that I can absorb the fat-soluble vitamins in it. So currently I feel like not all fat is bad. Maybe some fat should be avoided. And I, for the last 2 years, I don't do fried foods. I mean, you can count it on one hand how many times I have fried food in a year. Like, I had some falafel balls yesterday, but normally I never do that. I bake my fries. I bake my hamburger patties. I bake it all. And it comes out really well and very tasty. But that was another change I did in year 2 from year 1 is that I don't cook with oils anymore. I don't eat much saturated fat. And I think that combination is what led to a drastic reduction in my bad cholesterol. For what it's worth, from year 1 to year 2. So my current thinking on fat is bad is that if you completely generalize it to all fat, yeah, it's a bunch of jive. But like all good jive, there's some small truth in it, which makes it believable. So just be careful. There's a lot of jive on YouTube, and just don't get sucked in. Anyway, so the next big health benefit, my weight loss. Now, I am not going to hashtag anything about weight loss or put in the title of this video because I have recently come to see that there seems to be a huge issue with people being triggered and the pressure they feel. And yes, people have always felt pressure to look good. It seems to be on a monumental scale on this social platform. I do not want to contribute to that. However, I do want to share the health benefit that has happened to me over the last 2 years from being vegan, because it is a health benefit. And again, I'm going to cover this more in my daughter's video, but weight loss is important if you are prone to something called non-alcoholic fatty liver disease, which has 0 symptoms. And it's a risk for people that are overweight. And going plant-based has really helped my daughter on that. But again, I'm going to cover it more, but I just kind of wanted to put that out there because before I went vegan and before I had this like horrible event happen, my highest weight was 229 and a half. And that was not healthy. I was technically obese by World Health Organization standards. If those standards matter to you. At the time, I didn't really care. I had so much conviction and self-confidence, which I just do, that I would look in the mirror and I'd probably think, oh yeah, you know, I'm not at my trimmest or whatever. I didn't even think like that. I mean, it was just be like, well, I look good. Have a great day, Mary. But then if I see a picture of myself, it would be like this huge body and a little head, and I'd be like, that doesn't look like me. Oh, who cares? Whatever. So it's great to be confident in yourself, and I do highly recommend it in a balanced way. But it doesn't necessarily help your health. It didn't help my health. I weighed myself a few days ago. I do not weigh myself every day. I weigh myself maybe every a couple weeks. Maybe. And when I weighed myself, I was 174 and a half. So I have lost 55 pounds being vegan and not really exercising that much. It's been food choices over 2 years. I am now considered a normal BMI by World Health Organization standards. And I think that's a pretty big deal. Again, I'm not going to put anything about weight loss in the search part of this because I don't want to be a part of this. There's like this vicious circle people seem to get into. And I don't want to contribute to that. But I do want to tell you the benefit I've had because it's been a great benefit. I do need to tell you that I have a certain condition with my thyroid. I have an underactive thyroid that I take medication for. Now, if I did not take this medication, I don't think weight loss would be possible. And I see people commenting or asking questions like, I've tried all these things and I can't lose weight. And the YouTuber or whoever's giving the advice, they just say, stick with it, stick with it, stick with it. And I think it's because, like everybody, they have an experiential bias. It worked for them, and so it should work for you. Just stick with it. But the problem with experiential bias is that you generalize for everybody conditions that are unique to yourself. So I look at that and I go, maybe they've got a thyroid problem. Maybe they should go to an endocrinologist or their doctor and get their hormone levels checked. Because it's not uncommon. I mean, if you try all these things and it's not working for you, and it should be working for you because it's worked for everybody else, go to the doctor. Go to the doctor. Tell them, yeah, can I get my thyroid levels checked? Because I had something called subclinical hypothyroidism. And your thyroid levels, what's considered normal is a huge range. But just because you're within that range doesn't mean you can benefit with your thyroid getting a little help. I'm just putting it out there. I'm not telling you what to do, but if you're feeling hopeless because you're doing what everybody else is doing and you're not losing weight and you're making all these healthy choices and it should be working, go to the doctor. Talk to your doctor about it. They may be able to help you. They help me. And so, but I did this years ago before I went vegan. So, so I already had that experience. And I just have a lot more life experience than some of these YouTubers because I just have more life. I don't know, what can I say? I'm a lot older. But you benefit from that experience. So anyway, so weight loss is the second big benefit. There were other pluses with the blood tests. I'll probably put them in the description below the video so that if you're interested in what happened with my triglycerides and my cholesterol in general, I'll put that in there. I don't think I need to put it in the video, and it's probably too much for me to remember anyway, but those were the two main points, the bad cholesterol and the weight as far as my health goes. Now, how did I lose the weight? Was it consistent? Was it totally constant over 2 years? No, it was not. It was not. For the first 5 months, I lost an average of a pound a week. So after 20 weeks, I had lost 20 pounds. It was pretty consistent. So then month 6 happened. I didn't lose any weight. But I was drinking a lot of sugary coffees. But again, this was year 1 when I was not eating as well as I did in year 2. So I kind of cut out the sugary coffees and I started losing weight again, but slower. But again, my goal wasn't to lose weight. It was to be heart healthy. And the weight loss was a benefit on the side. And that was still my perspective because, I just looked at the mirror and I felt confident and I didn't have a specific size that I needed to get down to. Some months I'd lose weight, some I didn't. Then I had this issue where my tooth had to come out. And I won't get into the details, but it was pretty intense. I waited too long for various reasons I won't get into, and I finally had to go to a dentist I trusted. And he basically, because I had waited so long and the tooth wasn't healthy, he had to crack that thing out of my skull piece by piece. And it didn't hurt. I mean, I had so much pain-numbing medication shot thingy that it didn't physically hurt. But I gotta tell you, to have someone full force in your skull, right under your brain, connecting up with your skull, your body, and cracking something out of your head for like 2 hours, it's very intense. I did not want to have to go back for any reason. So the aftercare, I sort of did everything that I was supposed to do, but instead of for like 2 days, I did it for 2 weeks. All I ate was like soft food. I ate a lot of guacamole and I ate a lot of hummus and soup. So stuff I did not need to chew, because what happens when you have a tooth thing like that come out, the hole fills up with blood and you get this blood plug, and you do not want that blood plug to come out, because it'll cause this like dry gap, and it's really painful, and it sounded very scary, and I didn't want to go through that. So I gummed everything very lightly. I did not try to create any kind of suction in my mouth that would suck that blood plug out. So I ate a lot of fatty food, and wow, did I lose weight. And I realized that it wasn't so much that I was eating no carbs. I think I was eating the hybridized carbs I was eating, the hybridized wheat, was kind of getting in the way of my weight loss. So some people go gluten-free. Sometimes I make a choice to have a gluten-free item if I'm out, like pizza crust or something like that. But I eat wheat now in general that is not hybridized. I have not read Wheat Bellies, but I have a sneaking suspicion that basically it talks about the difference in the genomes are different. They have like extra sets of chromosomes. Hybridized wheat is huge compared to non-hybridized wheat, which the only non-hybridized wheat is what comes out of Jovial. It's the einkorn wheat. And I make that for my pasta, and it's so good and it's so healthy. But that was another realization about weight loss, was that the type of carbs. I don't think you have to go gluten-free. I think you need to be careful about the type of gluten you eat. And almost everything in the store, like breads and everything, is all hybridized wheat. So I may do a different video about that at another time, but that was kind of a big revelation for me. So once I changed the type of carbs I ate, and ate very little hybridized wheat, I lost more weight. Then the next issue was sugar. And my husband, well, he had certain health issues that made him have to significantly reduce his sugar. And so I wanted to support his lifestyle choice with food. And so, no more vegan ice cream. I have a little bit of sort of raw, like vegan sugar in my coffee in the morning. And that's basically it. We don't eat sweets. It's a rare treat. We go out for vegan ice cream. I take my daughter out for vegan and to Creamer Street. And so because we don't have it in the house and we go out, it's like this event and it's really fun. So there's like a nice thing about that. But yeah, cutting out sugar, I think that also helped with the weight loss. So I have come to realize that sugar feeds its own craving. If you stop eating a bunch of sugar, at least I stopped craving it, my husband stopped craving it, you kind of don't want it anymore. Which leads me to my next disagreement with the vegan community about carbohydrates and sugar and high carbs. And I try to come from things from a balanced point of view. And I think especially when you have the combination of all fat is bad and no sugar is bad, sugar is fine, eat as much sugar as you want. One YouTuber, all she ate for breakfast was like an ice cream sundae, vegan of course. I'm like, I can't do that. Who can do that? Who eats an ice cream sundae for breakfast and that's healthy? I mean, I don't think it's healthy, at least for me. So, but I totally respect people's choices. If that's what they want to do, it's their body. Everybody has to live with the consequences of their choices. That's the thing. It's like you are building the person you are with every meal. Every meal is a choice for your health, a choice for your longevity. Now, of course, you can't stop random events from coming into your life, things you cannot foresee and that, can hurt you in a health way. But for the choices you can make, you get to make them every day. Every day you get to make a choice about what you eat. So for me, cutting out a lot of the sugar, being sensible about the carbs and the wheat I eat, being sensible about the fats that I eat. For me, I have found after 2 years, that seems to be the most balanced way. And I encourage you to try it. Again, also make your doctor your partner in this about how you eat things and your weight loss journey. But you shouldn't feel pressured, and I hope that if weight loss is one of your goals, that you're able to pursue it in a balanced way. Anyway, that's my thoughts about the health issues and how they intertwine with how the vegan community looks at it. Just be balanced. I think being balanced is best. And now you have the perspective of the last 2 years of what I've observed in my life with my health conditions. So, okay, some of the food I like, which I want to share with you really quickly. First of all, if you have not heard of this stuff, it is truffle zest. Get this into your life. This will give you like an umami bomb of wonderful taste. I put this in my Fabonnaise when I do my Beyond Burgers. It just tastes wonderful. Let's see here, Jovial, I told you, they're a company, they're not necessarily dedicated vegan, they have a lot of vegan food. This is einkorn wheat, it's 100% the fusilli. They make wonderful, wonderful pasta, and it's kind of, they have a picture here. Like the big one is modern wheat, it's like pumped up on steroids, and then here's the little natural 12,000-year-old unhybridized einkorn wheat. So anyway, you can get this from their website, you can get this from Whole Foods. And I've sort of noticed also that other stores are carrying a lot more healthy choices. So go to your local Vaughn's, Pavilions, Ralph's, and ask them, maybe they can carry this. You never know. Here is the tomatoes, the Jovial packages. It comes in 3 styles. They do crushed, diced, and whole tomatoes. I normally get crushed, but they were out, so I got diced, and they are wonderful. The tastiest tomatoes ever. Highly recommend them. Okay, I make carrot juice protein smoothies in the morning, and they're wonderful. And I use Bold House Farms. Oh, and by the way, this video is sponsored by no one. No one is paying me to promote these products. I'm just telling you what I have found that I love and what's worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you. I don't know if you can get Bold House where you live, but I encourage you to try. The green cap is organic. The orange cap is not organic. This comes in like 2 versions. I prefer to get the organic. You know, you can argue, it's whatever you're comfortable with. Some people feel organic is not vegan. Some people feel the only vegan way is to be organic. I don't have a problem with it. I don't think it creates demand for steak if you buy organic vegetables. I really don't. I have a hard time seeing the connection. So anyway, and yes, juice from a bottle is really good. It has a lot of vitamins in it. So this is how I get my vitamin A, and I combine it with my Eden soy, vanilla soy milk, and I put my vegan Vega protein powder in. I should put that in. Vega makes a really good protein powder. Different flavors, find one you love. And this is kind of like nutritional insurance for me in the morning. Oh, and by the way, Eden soy, they press the whole soybean, so you get complete protein. Some soy milks don't do that, but Eden soy does. Anyway, so we got that, we got that, we got that. Oh, here's the bread. Now, I really like this bread, and I make it for my sandwiches for my daughter's lunch, and she really likes it. And it's a good pumpernickel. Now, technically, this is probably hybridized rye. However, you'll notice the gluten can't be that much in it because gluten is what gives you that really doughy rise, you know, biting into air feel in breads. That's the gluten, but that can also be the problem. So this is I feel this is a healthier choice. Let's see here. Did I show you these? Let me show you these. These are really fun Sandwich slices, they make a good option. I'm saying a lot, I apologize. Field Roast makes a wild mushroom, and they make a smoked tomato, and it's unbelievable how good these things are. I have not found the lentil slices. I've never seen anybody carry them, so I don't know if they're tasty or not. They probably are, but these really work. If you want to do like a Reuben, vegan Reuben. Okay. Kite Hill makes a great plain unsweetened yogurt. My husband likes to put it in his shakes. I use it as a sour cream substitute, and I think it's fabulous. They also make, Kite Hill also makes a Greek yogurt in different flavors, and I have to say, blueberry is very good. I really recommend this brand to give you a good yogurt option. I don't drink this a lot, but this is a good size. If you're gonna bento something, you're gonna take a vegan meal with you, like you're gonna maybe bento some cereal. Take a couple of these. This oat milk, they do not add sugar to it, but I have to tell you, it is so sweet on its own. Oh, and that's another thing about cutting sugar out of your diet. When you start cutting out all the refined sugar and the sugary products, you're gonna find your palate becomes more attuned with the sweetness, the natural sweetness in food. Fruit becomes so much more sweet. This oat milk, unbelievably sweet. Oh, and by the way, then when you try to go back to eating like cookies and cakes and the sweetness with all that sugar becomes almost overwhelming. Your palate, your taste just changes, and for the better, I must say. I might do a separate video or include it probably with my daughter's video about vegan supplements. There are several great vegan supplements. This one is omega, algae omega, so you do not have to get a fish oil to get your omegas. You do not have to get that added cholesterol. You do not have to get the, everything that goes along with eating fish, because you're vegan and you don't want to eat fish. Okay. This has been really good. I can't find it anywhere right now though, so hopefully it'll come back. But the Sambazon, the thing I like about Sambazon is that they flash pasteurize their acai, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I'm sorry, I just cannot bring myself to risk unpasteurized acai. But anyway, this stuff is really good for like muscle fatigue. I give it to my daughter before when she goes swimming. And it really helps with avoiding muscle fatigue. So if you're an athlete, I highly recommend some form of acai before you do your performance, your athletic performance, because I think it might help. Anyway, okay, Gardein. How can you be vegan and not eat Gardein? I mean, come on. It probably took me 6 months to try the fishless fillets because I had a bias thinking, how are they gonna make fish taste like fish? But they do, and it's amazing. And I use it with my rice cauliflower, and then so I make a fish rice bowl with no fish and no rice, and it's wonderful. My daughter likes the beefless burgers. I like the Beyond Burger, which this I will do a video on how to do it because I bake it a certain way and everybody loves it. The people in my household that are not vegan love the way I do this burger, so it deserves, and I don't fry it in oil because at first I fried it in oil and it kind of hurt my stomach to eat it. So then I started baking it and then the world was great again. Beefless tips are good, but my current favorite is the sizzling beef strips, which of course I don't have a copy of. And I put that in my vegan beefless noodle vegetable soup. So I use these as the noodles, I use the sizzling strips, and I have all kinds of fresh vegetables. And it's just wonderful. I love it. So basically that's my 2-year update. Thanks for sticking with me. I love being vegan. Oh, I was gonna also do a few things about how it's carried over into my other parts of my life, which it has, and it's still doing. My favorite skincare is Mad Hippie, which is vegan. Love that brand. I do the Paul Mitchell vegan-friendly products, and his hair coloring, the Color XG, XL, XG. Anyway, It doesn't have beeswax in it, so it is vegan friendly. So yay, I can get my roots touched up and not have to do some funky weird color. No offense, I love the funky weird colors, and I've even told my husband that if for whatever reason I lose my hair, I'm gonna just go anime blue. I'm just gonna dye it blue. So hopefully I'll never lose my hair though, to have it come back anime blue. I digress. So I'm still working on the makeup thing. I'm still working on the clothes thing, as in, I mean, I'm not buying, obviously, fur or leather or anything like that, or wool or silk. But so, you know, that's the first thing you do. You don't buy these products anymore. But now I'm starting to look into, and, you know, making sure the dyes aren't from crushed bugs and things like that. So, you know, I'm still working on, you know, making my wardrobe more vegan, less fast fashion, but anyway, it's working through my lifestyle. And that's the thing. I guess also I wanted to hit home. Some people think that if you go vegan for your health, that it won't stick. But I gotta tell you, I feel like I can never go back to eating the way I did, because it'll kill me. Even like there's this new, we're on the frontier of lab meat. Like there's 5 or 6 major companies that are about to, unless they get all kinds of roadblocks thrown in their way, they are going to be hitting the market with lab grown meat. And there'll probably be a lot of vegans that are for it. I can't eat that stuff. I can't eat anything that has a molecule of cholesterol in it, because I feel like it's going to kill me. So I will not be joining that bandwagon. But if you're vegan just solely for the animals, go for it. If you don't have a problem with cholesterol, go for it. I mean, it's grown in a lab. There's no harm being done. But I feel like I can't eat it. And I will say this, having that kind of a major scare, I mean, it wasn't like some sort of philosophical thing where I'm going to go vegan for my health. No, it's like, if I don't go vegan, I'm going to die. There's 2 different levels of urgency. So when you go vegan for your health, when you have that level of urgency, it's different. You're not going to fall back into, well, it tasted good. No. Because there's no amount of good taste in my mouth that is worth me dying over. So that was the way I felt. I still feel that way, but also it kind of changed my brain about how I feel about animal products in the rest of my life, how I feel about animals in general. And I don't like it that they have a crummy life, and I don't want to be a part of that. So I'm trying to be balanced and adjust my lifestyle accordingly so that I am truly vegan and not just plant-based. So in case there was any wondering, I wanted to make sure that I clarified that. But it's, the food thing you can change pretty easily. It's figuring out how this point of view figures into the complete rest of your entire lifestyle. That takes time. But it's the choices you make every day when you think about it. So I'm really glad I went vegan for many reasons, not just my health. I do think I am better off for it. I encourage people to do it. I do not support any kind of negativity or anger. That is just a horrible, horrible way to be, especially with what has happened in the last month, the event on the YouTube campus, which I don't need to go into. That kind of anger, that's I think that is completely abstract from the original vegan movement, which I believe the gist of it can be summed up in 3 words: do no harm. That's what being vegan means to me. Do no harm. So before I get verklempt, I'm gonna say goodbye, and thank you again for joining me, and I hope that I can make more videos that you find worthwhile and that help you. All right, take care everyone. Bye-bye.